Well, good evening, everybody. Here it is, September 1st. September the 1st. Summer is over and fall has begun. Tomorrow is Labor Day. I just can't believe how time just flies. You know, the older you get, the faster it seems to go. And boy, it is moving at a clip. Today I wanted to talk about something that happened to me, actually I guess you could say this morning. So I went to bed last night, my usual, up till at least 2, maybe later, I don't remember. Couldn't get to sleep, and finally did. And I know I woke up at some point, and then I know I woke up to take my medication, which would have been 7:30 or so. So anyway, yeah. And then I fell back to sleep. And I had the most horrendous dream I have ever had in my entire life. I don't remember even all the details of it. I see bits and pieces of it as clear as day. But something, it was just a mishmash of stuff. But I know I was at wherever I was in this place, and it was kind of like messy and dirty, and I was somehow afraid I was going to, it's where I seemed to be living along with other people, and I was afraid I was going to get kicked out or something. Where was I going to go, and this and that. And my mother was in it, but it wasn't my mother who looked like my mother at all. And it was just some older lady, and who was my mother, but it wasn't, very hard to describe that. Anyway, and she was just like absolutely unhelpful. Absolutely unhelpful. I kept asking her questions, and she was just going on and on and on about, had nothing to do with what I asked. And then my father was in it, but he wasn't in it at all, like physically. Like his presence was in it. If that makes any sense. It doesn't make sense to me, so why should it you? No sense at all, but he was in it, in a presence, and also a sort of ominous, not very comforting way at all. And it seems it might have been my older brother was in it as well. So both my parents are dead. My father long dead, my mother pretty long dead, 14 years. My brother, as far as I know, still living. haven't gotten the call. But anyway, it was just like I was getting no help from them. And then there was this cat. Granted, I'm not a super cat person, far more a dog person, but I don't hate cats. But this cat, I can't explain it. It was terror. It terrified me, and it was threatening, and I'm getting chills just thinking about it. And it was just scared to death of this cat, and it was a black cat, and it was in the dream. The lighting was very dull, as if it were nighttime out, but inside, there was a couple of very dull lights on, barely, but I could just see his eyes, his or her eyes, and it felt like it was going to attack me any second. And in fact, I think it had, and I was like trying to defend myself, and it was in a box at one point, and then this box spilled, and there was dirt all over the place, and it was just, oh my God. And then I was like, how am I going to get out of this? How am I going to get out of this? I don't know what to do. How am I going to get out of this? And I'm not even sure what I was getting out of. except that I was going to be thrown out. And I didn't want to stay, but I had nowhere else to go, is what the feeling was. And oh my gosh, I can't explain how absolutely panic-stricken I was in this dream. And it seemed so real, like far more real than most dreams I've ever had. So then I actually found myself waking up, which surprised me because I didn't think I was dreaming. I really thought what was happening was what was really happening. And then I became a little bit conscious, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm asleep. I need to wake up. I need to wake up and get out of this apparent dream. So I forced myself to open my eyes and move, and it was just, I just was in absolute terror. And I made myself wake up, and then I made myself sit up, and it's like, okay, and I felt like I was going to fall back asleep, but then all that image of the dream was still very vivid in my mind, and I didn't want that to come back. So I forced myself to get up and out of bed, and I was disoriented. I'm like, where am I? So that was a dream? Or is this the dream? It was really terrifying. So I made myself get up, and I went into the bathroom, and I calmed down a little bit, and then it all came back again, the terror, and I'm thinking, maybe I'm dreaming that I'm dying. Maybe that's the dream. I'm dying, and it's not true. It's a dream. And I'm going crazy. That's all I felt. I thought, oh my gosh, I'm having a psychotic break. And I don't know the people who are having psychotic breaks think that, oh my gosh, I'm having a psychotic break. But I was really scared. I thought, oh, I'm going crazy. And so then I was like, okay. Try to take some deep breaths. And I used a mantra that I say just to kind of repeat it over and over and over to get my mind, with something in it that's not that. So I just kept repeating the mantra over and over and over. I washed my hands and face and, put water on and started really genuinely waking up. And the terror, the fear, the panic, it was really a full-blown panic attack, which I used to have and don't have very much anymore, but this was one. Fortunately, it didn't last, and I knew what was going on, and it finally started to fade. But there was a low level of it, like even now when I'm talking about it, and this now is hours ago, whoa. And I was like, what in the heck? What was that? And throughout the day, I've thought about it a bit. I don't want to make I don't want to make it mean something that it doesn't mean. You know what I mean? I don't want to. But what I really think, truly, is that was death. Death. The unknown, the darkness, the fear of what in the heck is going on here. My parents were there. And it was just awful. And I was, like I said, I was terrified. How many times can I say it? And I think it was that. On a conscious level, I'm not too afraid of dying or of death. But apparently, below the surface, oh yeah, oh yeah, it's there. It's there. And I thought, okay, that's fine. That's fine. And I thought, this is part of the process. I wanted to be conscious and alert and awake as I could be through this whole experience. And by golly, that's what's happening. But I tell you what, I didn't sign up for this. I didn't. I wouldn't have thought in a million years. It didn't occur to me that I'd start having like dreams and weird, terrifying nightmares and stuff like. I just never occurred to me ever at all. Like I thought it's just going to be like, I'm going to be aware, I'm going to be dying, and I'm going to slowly get, less and less, and and then just eventually just go out, and that'll be that. Well, that's not just that. And I'm not telling anybody this to scare them, because maybe you've had an experience, or somebody watching this knows of such an experience in somebody who's dying, and maybe you can tell me if other people experience it. I'm guessing pretty much that they do. I'm guessing pretty much that they do. I just didn't expect it. I didn't even think about it. So when I say to myself, I want to use my meditation practice, I want to use what I've learned in my Buddhist practice to have a very conscious, awake dying, and really see it and experience it. This is not something that crossed my mind. It really isn't. But there you go. It's what happened to me this morning. And yeah. So I guess, I just want to share, partly just to share it and get it out there. Maybe somebody else can relate to it. If it's maybe one of those things I'm sharing that other people go through and they think they're going crazy, then maybe we can see that we're not, because I don't think we are. So one of the things I realized, I had to get up. I ate my breakfast, and usually I would then sit and meditate after breakfast. But this strong feeling of get up and get out of the house and go for a walk. And so I thought, okay, today will be a walking meditation. And that's what I did. I got up, I took a walk, I went outside, took a walk. Didn't walk real far, but I walked really slow and just took my time and, took in the trees and the flowers and it was hot and warm and humid. And so took, that feeling on my face and my arms, just the humidity. And fortunately it was primarily cloudy, so it wasn't like the sun was beating down, but and there were people out on the street, of course, and traffic, and so getting out, change of scenery, helped me to calm down quite a bit. And I came back and I talked to our manager, just chatted, told him about this dream, but then I didn't go in depth, but just chatted about it and chatted about other things. So, connecting with other people and so on and so forth. So that really helped me to get through it. Came up, made my dinner, and took a very nice nap today. I fell deeply asleep. Not for a real long time though, but I did fall deeply asleep for maybe 45 minutes. And then, got up and here I am now. Yeah, I've been up for a little while, but I'm here. So I wanted to share that because I really do think it wasn't a normal dream. It was not like any dream I've ever experienced. I have to be honest. It wasn't. It was so real. And I've had dreams before that while you're in the dream and so on, it definitely feels like it's quite real. Everybody has had those, I would imagine most everybody has. But there's just a different feel to this. When I woke up, I was surprised because I just thought I thought what I was going through was reality. Anyway, I wanted to share that. Like I said, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Although those are all judgments, and it's none of those things. It just is what it is. And I know that everybody's experience of dying is different. I know that there are some similarities, but nobody goes through exactly the same process. So I wanted to share that, and yeah. So I hope you all are doing well. If you're in the United States and you have a long weekend, I hope you enjoyed it. It's almost over. And so thanks for listening. It means a lot. I really appreciate it. I really do.